Hello everybody and welcome. Now on today's episode we are going to be making an immune boosting infused vinegar. Traditional remedies like this have been around since Hippocrates in ancient Greece, and tales of their healing power have been told ever since. At the very least, it's going to warm you up on a cold winter's morning. That's right, we're going to make fire cider. Before we jump into the recipe, it's worth mentioning how this little infused vinegar became the epicenter of a lengthy legal trademark battle. Coined by herbalist Rosemary Gladstar, fire cider represented a recipe for the people. Now, one producer of fire cider came in and trademarked the term, which then created this whole legal battle over who can trademark herbal traditions. The good news, just in 2019, Rosemary and the Fire Cider 3 won their day in court and now protect generic herbal traditions from trademark. So thank you to them and to all the supporters who are able to protect these herbal traditions for us. Now on to the recipe. There's going to be a lot of different variations out there for fire cider. This is just going to be my particular take on it. And I'm kind of limited also by what I can find in the stores. I'm filming this during the spring of 2020, and you probably know what that means. It's pretty hard to find specific ingredients at the grocery store, so we're just gonna work with what we have. I will put a recipe in the comments down below if you can find everything. This is my traditional go-to fire cider recipe. Let's dive in. Today, we're going to need some horseradish root, fresh ginger, onion, garlic, lemon, fresh rosemary, and a tablespoon of black peppercorns, fermented Fresno peppers, honey, and raw apple cider vinegar. In some other variations, you'll find cinnamon sticks, and I personally love fresh turmeric in mine. I can't find it in the grocery store right now, so hopefully you can. Okay, so let's just go ahead and get started. The first thing I'm going to do is just start chopping all this up. Great piece of kitchen hardware to get, especially if you're going to be doing a lot of things within mason jars, is one of these funnels. For the horseradish root, you do want to go ahead and peel it. And it's a pretty thick skin on the horseradish root, so I'll actually chop it off. This is a great recipe to do if you're actually starting to feel maybe a little tingle in the back of your throat, or starting to turn the corner into not feeling well, because the process of making this, you're going to experience the fire cider while you're making it. I'm going to grate this horseradish root, and as you can imagine, it's going to release a lot of aroma into the atmosphere. It starts to tickle your nose, and yeah, it starts to become a very visceral experience. You could do this all in a food processor or a blender. You know, I haven't tried that, but I think I've read places that you could do it. But where's the fun in that? You wanna experience the fire cider. Maybe it is more fun to do it that way, I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, one thing's for sure, that's some very pungent horseradish root, which is exactly what we're looking for. Okay, let's go to something a little more friendly. Let's do some garlic. I want to give this garlic a pretty good chop, just so that all the oils will be easily extracted by the vinegar. And no need to be super precise about this stuff. Just kind of work with what you have in your kitchen. And that's ever more true during these times. My eyes are just still so activated from all that horseradish. For the ginger, we are going to want to peel this. And I like to just kind of cut off the little nubs at the end of the, cut off the little nubs on the ginger. And then you can take a spoon and peel it real easily with the spoon without going too deep. All right, we're going to add our ginger. Our fresh ginger. It smells delicious too. For the lemon, I'm gonna take the lemon, just kind of cut off the end there. Cut it halfway. Cut it in half again, and then just create little slices. Great, and then we'll add everything. I'm gonna add 2 sprigs of fresh rosemary, and I'm just gonna give this a big old clap just to try and get that started with the juices. And then about a tablespoon of black peppercorns. Now for the fiery hotness, I'm going to use a fermented fire mash. Here's a video about how I made that. Hello everyone, and welcome to a really quick video about how to make a fermented fire mash. 2 ingredients, chili peppers and salt. The chili pepper today is going to be a Fresno chili pepper. So we have roughly, let's just call it 350 grams of content here that we're going to turn into our brine. So I need roughly 7 grams of salt. I'm gonna go ahead and add the salt too. I'm just gonna pulse this away. Just gonna kind of funnel this down into our vessel. All right, you can just see all the liquid that was released during that process, which is great. And there you go. And once you've gotten it to about where you like it, just go ahead and screw on a lid nice and tight. Put it in a spot. I'll put it in the counter, out of the sunlight. Let it ferment for about 2 weeks up to several months. You also just want to make sure that you're checking in on it, especially during the first week, to burp it when necessary. Let those gases out. And put a plate underneath it too in case it does overflow itself. It's going to get very excited, and depending on how hot it is, it's going to go faster than if it's colder, it's going to go slower. Hopefully you enjoy it. Get to fermenting. See you next time. So for this, I'm going to use it's kind of a dealer's choice for this. The more you add, the spicier it's going to be. I'm gonna add kind of 3 big dollops into that. So I'm gonna take this, oh my God, there we go. That was hard to open. I'm just gonna pour this apple cider vinegar over the top. Okay, everything's all mixed up. Time for the long nap. First, let's put a lid on it. I use these plastic lids. It's great for vinegar infusions. If you have a metal lid, that'll be fine too. Just put a layer of parchment paper down first. You want to protect the vinegar from the reactive surface of the metal. Very important. I have my little area where I keep my other ferments, and so that's where I'm going to keep this for 4 to 6 weeks. It needs to be sitting out at room temperature to infuse all of that greatness into the vinegar that we have. You don't want to let it go longer than 6 weeks. So in between that 4 to 6 week window is your butter zone. Look for that. And about every day or whenever you think about it, that's the term I've heard a lot. When you think about your fire cider, go ahead and give it a little twist like this. Make sure everything kind of mixes up every day, every other day, whenever you think about it. Just don't think about it too much because you don't want to be sitting here all day mixing it. You got work to do. I'm going to go ahead and put this away. Oh, hey, what's this? Huh, it's a fire cider that I made a month ago. How convenient. Okay, so what I want to do now is, since this fire cider is done, I'm going to strain it. So I like to use like a blender for this, but you can use anything. You want to take a strainer and then just strain the vinegar in. Take your time with this stage. You spent so many weeks infusing all that vinegar. Make sure it all gets out. Once you feel confident about that, you are done. Well, actually, there is one more step. It's our little friend over here, honey, that's been sitting out on the counter. This is a nice little local raw honey. Honey you're gonna add to taste. Some people like it sweeter than others. A good rule of thumb would be start with 1/4 cup of honey, mix it in, taste it, and then see if you need to add more. This, at the end of the day, is a very strongly flavored vinegar. Honey helps kind of cut down some of the heat and also some of the acidity. Okay, the nice thing about doing this in the blender is I can just blitz it to mix. Well, we're all mixed together, and 1 month after we had started this fire cider is complete. It's such a great ally for you during cold and flu season. It aids in your digestion. It also releases some of the congestion that you may have. It's immune boosting. It'll support your circulation. Such a wonderful little tonic to have. There's so many great uses for this, whether it be an herbal remedy or adding a rich culinary flavor to something. And for me, my personal favorite way to enjoy this is just to take a tablespoon in the morning, kind of start your day off right, kickstart that immune system, if you will. So please let me know if you guys try this, comment down below. And if you do have this in your kitchen arsenal or if you've tried it before, what's your favorite recipe? What are some of the ways that you like to create your fire cider? So here's to your health, here's to all our health. Cheers, everybody. Woo! I feel like this episode, you guys have seen like the visceral experience of cooking.